Life, with all its mysteries and journeys, is a tapestry woven with moments of love, faith, and human connection. It is a quest to discover the meaning of our existence, a search for purpose that transcends the physical realm. Amidst this quest, we encounter a palette of emotions, encounters, and questions. Yet two eternal teachings from the Bible shine forth, guiding us through the intricacies of our existence. These teachings, Matthew 22:36, 40, and the parable of the Good Samaritan, illuminate the pathway to spiritual enlightenment and a life of unconditional love. Matthew: Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments, and the prophets. At a surface level, Matthew 22:36, 40 is a question posed to Jesus by a religious expert seeking clarity about the most important commandment. However, Jesus' response unveils a foundational truth that goes beyond mere commandments. In this exchange, Jesus distills the entire moral and spiritual law into two commandments. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. This deep and revelatory teaching speaks to the core of human existence and spirituality. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. This commandment calls us to fully devote ourselves to a loving relationship with God, acknowledging His supremacy and responding with the deepest affection. It implies a total surrender of our innermost being to the divine. When we wholeheartedly love God, we embrace His love and grace, experiencing a connection that transforms us from within. Love your neighbor as yourself. The second commandment reveals the integral link between our love for God and how we treat others. Jesus calls us to extend the same love and compassion we have for ourselves to our neighbors. This commandment challenges our selfishness and calls us to practical love and action. It reminds us that true love for God is evident in how we treat those around us. These commandments are not isolated, but intricately connected. Our love for God should manifest through our love for others. When we embrace these teachings, we find ourselves empowered to lead a life rooted in love, compassion, and spiritual fulfillment. The parable of the Good Samaritan, found in Luke 10:25-37, is a story Jesus told to illustrate the depth of love and compassion we ought to have for our neighbors. The core of the parable revolves around a man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho who is attacked by robbers, left wounded, and abandoned on the side of the road. In this moment of desperation, two religious figures, a priest and a Levite, encounter the injured man but choose to pass him by, offering no assistance. These initial reactions highlight the moral dilemma and social indifference that can persist even among those who profess religious or moral values. The turning point of the parable occurs when a Samaritan, a member of a group historically in conflict with the Jews, comes upon the wounded traveler. Contrary to social expectations and prejudices, the Samaritan does not ignore the man's suffering. Instead, he is moved with compassion. He tends to the man's wounds, provides him with care, and even ensures that he receives lodging and further assistance at an inn, promising to return and cover any additional expenses. The parable of the Good Samaritan eloquently demonstrates the concept of loving your neighbor as yourself. It challenges preconceived notions, social barriers, and the tendency to ignore the plight of others. This parable is a masterpiece of storytelling that delivers a profound message of compassion, empathy, and human dignity. The teaching resonates deeply because it transcends time and culture, offering universal lessons that remain as relevant today as they were when Jesus first spoke these words. Through this story, Jesus shows that true love and compassion know no boundaries. Matthew 22:36, 40, and the parable of the Good Samaritan offer profound lessons on love and compassion, yet they approach the concept of love from different perspectives. Matthew focuses on the vertical dimension of love, emphasizing our relationship with God. Loving God with all our heart, soul, and mind calls us to a deeper connection with the divine, a relationship rooted in total devotion. It reminds us that our spiritual journey begins with our love for God. On the other hand, the parable of the Good Samaritan illustrates the horizontal dimension of love, our relationship with others. It embodies the practical manifestation of loving our neighbor as ourself. This parable challenges us to put our love into action, to show compassion and mercy to those in need, regardless of social or cultural differences. Both of these teachings complement each other, forming a holistic approach to love. They remind us that true love is not merely a feeling, but a lifestyle marked by actions that bring healing, restoration, and reconciliation. Love for God inspires and fuels, love for others creating a powerful cycle of compassion. In our daily lives, these teachings empower us to live out our faith in practical ways. They call us to love and serve others with the same devotion and selflessness that we offer to God. When we embrace these lessons, we discover a profound transformation within us as our hearts are open to the needs and sufferings of those around us. Matthew and the parable of the Good Samaritan also serve as a reminder of the universality of love. They break down barriers, challenge stereotypes, and encourage us to recognize the common humanity that unites us all. Whether in a place of worship or on the side of a dusty road, love remains a powerful force for change and healing. In a world often marked by division, self-centeredness, and indifference, these teachings call us to a higher standard of love and compassion. They remind us that our faith is most vibrant when demonstrated through actions of love toward God and our fellow humans. Indeed, they are not just words on a page. They are guiding lights illuminating the path of spiritual fulfillment and radical love. As we embark on this reflective journey, may we be inspired to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to extend that love to our neighbors regardless of differences. May we be transformed into agents of compassion and healing, committed to the eternal truth that love is the greatest commandment of all. Through this love, we find not only spiritual empowerment, but also the ability to impact our world with the extraordinary force of divine love. The interplay of love and faith. Matthew and the parable of the Good Samaritan demonstrate the profound interplay between love and faith in our spiritual journey. They teach us that love is a vital expression of our faith in God, and that our faith informs and inspires our love for others. The two greatest commandments in Matthew underscore the pivotal role of love as the foundation of our faith. Loving God with all our heart, soul, and mind is an acknowledgement of His central place in our lives. This love signifies trust, surrender, and devotion to the divine. It is through our love for God that our faith finds its firm footing, as we place our complete trust in His infinite love and wisdom. Faith is not an abstract concept, but is vividly expressed through love and compassion, as exemplified in the parable of the Good Samaritan. When we extend love and help to others, especially those in need, we are, in essence, living out our faith. It is through our actions of love and kindness that our faith becomes tangible and transformative. Conversely, faith fuels and empowers our capacity to love. When we trust in God's promises and His love for us, we are inspired to love others as ourselves. Our faith in God's unending grace and forgiveness encourages us to extend the same grace and forgiveness to those around us. Faith in God's love provides us with an endless reservoir of love to share with others. Both love for God and love for our neighbors are integral to our spiritual growth. They challenge us to continually strive to deepen our relationship with God and to broaden our capacity for compassion. The dynamic interplay of love and faith propels us forward on our spiritual journey, enabling us to evolve into more loving, empathetic, and Christ-like individuals. The teachings of Matthew and the parable of the Good Samaritan are not merely theoretical concepts. They are actionable principles that can profoundly impact our daily lives. Prioritize love. Make a conscious effort to prioritize love in your life. Start by deepening your love for God through prayer, meditation, and a commitment to understanding His teachings. As your love for God grows, it will naturally overflow into love for others. Practice compassion. Be vigilant for opportunities to practice compassion in your everyday interactions. This might involve helping a neighbor in need, offering a kind word to someone in distress, or forgiving those who have wronged you. Remember that small acts of love and kindness can have a significant impact. Break down barriers. The parable of the Good Samaritan challenges us to break down barriers and extend love to those we might perceive as different or even as adversaries. Strive to overcome prejudice, biases, and social divisions by embracing the idea that all are worthy of love and compassion. Live out your faith. Allow your faith to permeate your actions when faced with challenges. Trust in God's strength to guide you through them. In moments of doubt or fear, remember that your faith is a wellspring of resilience, and let it empower you to face life's uncertainties with confidence. Reflect and pray. Take time to reflect on these teachings regularly. Consider how you can better integrate love and faith into your life. Through prayer and contemplation, seek guidance on how to live out these principles in practical ways. In a world often marked by division, conflict, and a lack of compassion, these teachings from the Bible remind us of the transformative power of love and faith. They challenge us to be agents of positive change in our communities and in the lives of those we encounter. As we endeavor to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to love our neighbors as ourselves, we find not only spiritual fulfillment, but also the capacity to bring healing, unity, and hope to a world in need. The universality of love and faith. Matthew and the parable of the Good Samaritan transcend cultural, religious, and social boundaries, emphasizing the universality of love and faith. Regardless of one's beliefs or background, these teachings hold relevance and value for all of humanity. Unity in diversity. Love and faith have the remarkable ability to unify people of different beliefs and cultures. They serve as common ground upon which people from various backgrounds can meet, collaborate, and build bridges of understanding. These teachings encourage us to look beyond our differences and recognize the shared humanity that connects us all. A source of hope. In a world often marked by turmoil and uncertainty, love and faith provide a stable foundation of hope. They remind us that even in the darkest times, love can illuminate the path forward, and faith can sustain us through trials. This message of hope transcends cultural and religious divides, offering a common thread of solace and inspiration. A call to action. Love and faith are not passive concepts. They call us to action. Whether through acts of compassion, charity, or advocacy, these teachings inspire us to make a positive impact on the world around us. They challenge us to be agents of change, working toward a more just, loving, and inclusive society. An invitation to deeper understanding. Regardless of our belief system, Matthew 22:36 and the parable of the Good Samaritan invite us to explore deeper questions about life, purpose, and our relationship with others. They encourage us to engage in meaningful conversations and reflections that can lead to greater wisdom and insight. The teachings of Matthew 22:36 and the parable of the Good Samaritan are not confined to faith communities alone. They offer valuable lessons and guidance that can benefit all individuals and societies, regardless of faith or creed. Education and ethics. These teachings can be incorporated into educational curricula to promote moral and ethical development among students. They provide a strong foundation for character education, encouraging empathy, compassion, and social responsibility. Social and political discourse. In a world where discourse can often be divisive, these teachings offer a common ethical framework for discussion. They can be utilized to promote civil dialogue, respect for different perspectives, and a shared commitment to building a more equitable society. Humanitarian endeavors. Empathy inspires countless humanitarian organizations and activists to work towards social justice, relief for the vulnerable, and peace-building. These teachings serve as a driving force for positive change in the world. Reconciliation, whether in the context of community conflict resolution or international diplomacy, love and faith can play a role in promoting healing and reconciliation. They encourage forgiveness, empathy, and the pursuit of peaceful solutions. The continuing impact. Matthew 22:36 and the parable of the Good Samaritan have indeed left a profound imprint on the human spirit and continue to serve as beacons of light in our journey through life. At their heart, these teachings call us to a deeper understanding of our existence. They remind us that life is not merely a collection of moments and experiences, but a spiritual voyage. They encourage us to explore the rich territory of our inner selves and to connect with something greater than us. In this unending journey, we discover that love and faith are not static. They grow and evolve with us. Our love for God deepens, and our love for others becomes more expansive. As we embrace these teachings, our lives are enriched, our spirits are nourished, and we become instruments of positive change in a world that desperately needs love, compassion, and faith. So let's embrace the timeless wisdom within these verses and allow them to continue guiding us on our quest for meaning, purpose, and spiritual fulfillment. Through love and faith, we unlock the potential to transform not only our own lives, but also the world around us. For indeed, love and faith are universal forces that have the power to reshape our destinies and bring us ever closer to the divine.